जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपीजन बल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपीजन बल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय जशोदनंदन जय ब्रजजन रंजन जय ब्रजजन रंजन। जय जशोदनंदन जय ब्रजजन रंजन जय ब्रजजन रंजन। जय जशोदनंदन ब्रजजन रंजन जशोदनंदन ब्रजजन रंजन जशोदनंदन ब्रजजन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय श्री श्री राधा माधव की जय। विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद जी महाराज की। इस्कॉन बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद जी महाराज की जय। विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य नित्य लीला प्रविष्टा स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद जी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नमाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय। श्री श्री राधा पार्थ सारथी ललिता विशाखा जी की जय। श्री श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी की जय। नृसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। भक्तराज प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्री श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। श्री श्री द्वारका धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथ धाम की जय। श्री श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। श्री श्री मायापुर चंद्रोदय मंदिर की जय। गंगा मई की जय। जमुना मई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन प्रोग्राम की जय। प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सचिनंदन श्री श्रीमन चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय। परम दयाल पतित पावन नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। समवेत गौरभक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निदाय गौर प्रियवनंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Srila Gurudev ki jai. Narayanam namaskrutyam naruschaiva narottamam deving saraswating vyasam ततो जयमुदीरयेत् विद्रामणश्चैव पुराणे भारते तथा आदुचन्ते च मध्ये च हरि सर्वत्र गीयते मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपास्तमं वन्दे श्री गुरु दिनतारिणी परमानंद माधवम। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्य भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिके। So today we will read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, Text 19, Lord Rushabdev's teachings. Idang Sharirang Mama Durvibhavyang Sattvam Hi Me Hrudayang Jatra Dharmaha Prushtha Kruto Me Jadharma Arad Ato Hi Matrusabhang Prahurarjaha Idang Sharirang Mama Durvibhavyang Sattvam Hi Me Hrudayang Jatra Dharmaha Prushte Kruto Me Jadharmarad Ato Hi Matrusabhang Prahurarjaha Idang Sharirang Mama Durvibhavyang Sattvam Hi Me Hrudayang Jatra Dharmaha Prishte Kruto Me Jadharma Arad Ato Hi Matrusabhang Prahurarjaha Finish. Mataji's. Word translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Idam, this, Shariram, transcendental body, Sachid Ananda Vigraha, Mama, my, Durvibhavyam, inconceivable, Sattvam, with no tinge of the material modes of nature. He, indeed, may, my, Hrudayam, heart, Jatra, wherein, Dharmaha, the real platform of religion, Bhakti, Yoga, Pristhe, on the back, Krutaha, made, me, by me, Jat, because, Adharmaha, irreligion, Arat, far away, Ataha, therefore, he, indeed, Mam, me, Rishabham, the best of the living beings, Prabhu, call, Aryaha, those who are advanced in spiritual life or the respectable superiors. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. My transcendental body, Satchidananda Vigraha, looks exactly like a human form, but it is not a material human body. It is inconceivable. I am not forced by nature to accept a particular type of body. I take on a body by my own sweet will. My heart is also spiritual, and I always think of the welfare of my devotees. Therefore, within my heart can be found the process of devotional service, which is meant for the devotees. Far from my heart have I abandoned irreligion, adharma, and non-devotional activities. They do not appeal to me. Due to all these transcendental qualities, people generally pray to me as Rishabdev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the best of all living entities. Please repeat with me. My transcendental body, Sachidananda Vigraha, looks exactly like a human form, but it is not a material human body. It is inconceivable. I am not forced by nature to accept a particular type of body. I take on a body by my own sweet will. My heart is also spiritual, and I always think of the welfare of my devotees. Therefore, within my heart can be found the process of devotional service, which is made for the devotees. Far from my heart have I abandoned irreligion, adharma, and non-devotional activities. They do not appeal to me. Due to all these transcendental qualities, People generally pray to me as Rishabdev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the best of all living entities. Purport. In this verse, the word idam sariram mama durbibhavyam are very significant. Generally, we experience two energies, material energy and spiritual energy. We have some experience of the material energy, earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, intelligence and ego. Because in the material world, everyone's body is composed of these elements. Within the material body is the spirit soul, but you cannot see it with the material eyes. When you see a body full of spiritual energy, it is very difficult for us to understand how the spiritual energy can have a body. It is said that Lord Rishabh's body is completely spiritual. Therefore, for a materialistic person, it is very difficult to understand. For a materialistic person, the completely spiritual body is inconceivable. We have to accept the version of the Vedas when our experimental perception cannot understand a subject. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Ishwaraha Paramaha Krishnaha Sachidananda Vigraha. The Supreme Lord has a body with form, but that body is not composed of material elements. It is made of spiritual bliss, eternity and living force. By the inconceivable energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord can appear before us in His original spiritual body, but because we have no experience of the spiritual body, we are sometimes bewildered and see the form of the Lord as material. The Mayavadi philosophers are completely unable to conceive of a spiritual body. They say that the spirit is always impersonal, and whenever they see something personal, they take it for granted that it is material. In Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, text 11, it is said, Avajananti mang mudha manusing tanunga sritam param bhavam ajanato mama bhuta maheswaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that being. Unintelligent people think that the Supreme Lord accepts a body composed of a material energy. You can easily understand the material body, but you cannot understand the spiritual body. Therefore, Rishabdev says, Idam sariram mama durbi bhavyam. In the spiritual world, everyone has a spiritual body. There is no conception of material existence there. In the spiritual world, there is only service and the receiving of service. There is only Sevya, Seva and Sevak. The person served, the process of service and the servant. These three items are completely spiritual, and therefore the spiritual world is called absolute. There is no tinge of material contamination there. Being completely transcendental to the material conception, Lord Rishabdev states that his heart is composed of dharma. Dharma is explained in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 66. Sarva dharman paritejya mamekang saranang braja. In the spiritual world, every living entity is surrendered to the Supreme Lord and is completely on the spiritual platform. Although there are servitors, the served and service, all are spiritual and variegated. At the present moment, due to our material conception, everything is durbibhavya, inconceivable. Being the Supreme, the Lord is called Rishabh, the best. In terms of the Vedic language, Nityo Nityanang. We are also spiritual, but we are subordinate. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is the foremost living entity. The word Rishabha means the chief or the supreme and indicates the supreme being or God Himself. I will repeat again translation, then I will start my lecture. My transcendental body, Sachidananda Vigraha, looks exactly like a human form, but it is not a material human body. It is inconceivable. I am not forced by nature to accept a particular type of body. I take on a body by my own sweet will. My heart is also spiritual, and I always think of the welfare of my devotees. Therefore, within my heart can be found the process of devotional service, which is meant for the devotees. Far from my heart have I abandoned irreligion, adharma, and non-devotional activities. They do not appeal to me. Due to all these transcendental qualities, people generally pray to me as Rishabdev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the best of all living entities. Idang sarirang mamadur vibhavyang Satyam hi me hrudayam jatra dharmaha pristhe kruto me jat dharma arat ato hi matru shabhang prahurarjaha. Namang Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devam Guruvani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vevacha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. First of all, before I am going to give my pravachan, I beg apology to all the present exalted Vaishnavas here, because a few days back through that WhatsApp I had checked some of the lectures. In that exact time I found the lecture of our here temple president Mohana Rupa Prabhu. Because I have a little bit inclination towards him, I thought let me hear his lecture. So the moment I heard his lecture, I was surprised. Why? Because after the lecture he had explained everything. It is very, when I similar Bhagavatam class here, some Mataji was asking and he is answering. Again she is asking, she is answering. In this way there was quite a big word combat, like there is no pause between. And some moment the Mataji was asking some question, Prabhu was giving so much nice answer. People, devotees are, I said, what type of class it is? When you are giving me today morning this lecture, I was totally depressed. Because I am not up to that cadre of devotees. And today morning our this Santanagar Nilachaladham devotees requested me to give some lecture to them by our Rambhadra Prabhu. Last evening I just gave my consent to that, and the night before going 11 to bed I was preparing for that class. But Sadhu Prabhu is very much affectionate to me also. He just this morning Mangalarti in front of Ram Chandra Mahaprabhu's altar, he asked me, are you prepared for today's class? I told Prabhu, this is morning class. Is that? No, cancel it, give it here. You see, this is my position to give today's presentation to you. And I took that Bhagavatam book after this chanting some rounds and looking at the topic I came. But it's a very beautiful topic. But it needs, little preparation and give a good presentation to all of you. But it is my misfortune that it is Lord's test, devotee's test, and Prabhupada's test, Gurudev's test to give some presentation within few moments, within half an hour, which may like you or may not. That's why I'm begging apologies to all of you. So this is the topic, Lord Rishabhadev's teachings from Canto 5, Chapter 5, Text 19, where Rishabhadev actually had explained everything here by Srila Prabhupada explained. Rishabhadev means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the best of all living entities. As you know, here also Prabhupada in his purport had given Ishwaraha Paramaha Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. The Supreme Lord has a body with form, but that body is not composed of material elements. It is all divine and transcendental. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Sriyate. The Lord has multifarious energies. Jai Sri Sri Gaurnitai Radha Partha Sarati Lalita Visakha Sitaram Lachman Hanuman ki jai. So, mostly he had manifested his lila here through his transcendental superior energy, internal energy. That's why it is written here by Srila Prabhupada, even the Lord had appeared here or is appearing here in his transcendental body. It is not possible for us to see the real form of the Lord. Why? Because our senses, our body, everything is a combination of three modes of material nature. Modes of goodness, modes of passion, and mode of ignorance. Because of this combination, this body is called material body. And it is a limitation of all these senses as their particular limitation. Because it is so to say, defective senses are within our body. And as spiritual beings, we are all transcendental. Krishna told in Gita, Mamavansa Jivaloke Jivabhuta Sanatana. Eternally, we are part and parcel of Supreme Lord Krishna, and we are very much spiritual in our identity. That means Krishna has 64 qualities, of which 50 qualities are with us. Still, when you are here, by the influence of the material energy or three modes of material nature, our consciousness is covered in such a way, neither we are able to see our form, not to recognize the qualities within us. Because we have a tendency here to enjoy. We are Lord's associates. But the moment our tendency is to enjoy, that is the only barrier for us to divide us from our spiritual qualities. And this material energy, it is also one of the energies of the Lord. Don't think that it is inferior. Like we have electricity, one side it is giving us cooling effect, and another side it is also giving us the heating effect. But the energy is the same. As per our requirement, we are utilizing it. Similarly, Krishna's energies are very powerful. Internal, external, all the same. Internal energy is for the spiritual world manifestation, and external energy for this material world's manifestation. But this material energy, although it seems to be inferior, still it has its power. By the Lord's direction, it is not bewildering us here with this material body, material senses, false ego, intelligence, mind. All these factors are there, which is making us totally, so to say, not qualified to see the spiritual matters. For this purpose, we are trying our best. One category people are there, they are called Mayavadis. Those who have no knowledge of the God's personal form. And they have no qualification to see the soul and super soul also. Because these are very invisible, they say they have no real form, formless. And Lord is also formless. After we leave our body, we will mix or combine with the Lord, merged with the Lord. This is Mayavad philosophy. But the Vaishnavas, they realize the presence of the soul, super soul, Supreme Lord, and his abode, spiritual abode, how the material world is manifested by his inferior energy. That's why they relate themselves with the Supreme Lord and his activities through devotional practice. But to come to this point, we have to take shelter of dear devotees of the Lord. Under their able spiritual guidance, a certain period will come, we will be qualified to see the Lord's form, activities, qualities, dham, and all the endeavors and all the associates and all these things. But it is a time-taking affair. The moment we forget the Lord and our own identity, immediately we are forced by Supreme Lord's energy to be here. But you can't say how long we are here. That's what it is called time immemorial we are here. Anadi. There is no exact time we can see that from particular this time I am here. No. From time immemorial. So you see how long we had just forgotten the Lord and grouping in the darkness of this material world. This world is full of darkness. Unless sunlight, moonlight and your so-called electric light is there,
minus of all these things, this world is dark for us. And we are also in darkness because we had forgotten our own identity. So all these energies, they are with the Lord, and Lord by His mercy had given some scope to us that will practice devotional service under the able guidance of pure devotees of the Lord. Only if the Lord's pure devotees will shower their mercy, then only will be qualified to see the Lord. Otherwise it is not possible. Dear devotees of the Lord, they are always with the seva of the Lord. As it is told here, there is only Sevya, Seva and Sevak. The person served, the process of service and the servant. These three items are completely spiritual, and therefore the spiritual world is called absolute. There is no tinge of material contamination there. When the devotee comes down here, he maintains his spiritual identity. Although he has a body, it seems similar to us, but it is transcendental. That's a Vaishnava Kriya Mudra Vijnana Bujhai. You can't understand the activities of the real Vaishnava or true devotees of the Lord, because they are always merged with the thoughts of the Lord, activities of the Lord, glorification of the Lord, and having always that power of vision to see the transcendental form of the Lord. So they are completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness, in divinity of the Lord. They have no other thoughts or any other motivated desires or any other plans or programs. The moment Jiva comes to them, they have the mercy, because everywhere see their dear deity in the heart, they see everywhere in all the living entities. And out of sympathy, they pray for us to the Lord. How this conditioned soul is roaming in this material world, forgetting his real identity and his true, real spiritual relationship with the Supreme Lord. O Lord, please help him, so that you will come back again to your divine lotus feet and serve you well. That is the causeless mercy of dear devotees of the Lord. But get the mercy of that type of devotees, we should have some tapasya, austerity. Unless we do it, very difficult. They are not so cheap to be found on the roaming on the roads or markets, no. They are most exalted personalities. You might have heard how Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Bansi Badanananda Thakur, similar Vaishnavas, they are remaining away from the society, so that nobody will come and disturb them in their sadhana. They are experts. They are most exalted sadhakas. No necessity of any sadhana. But still, because they have tasted that nectar coming from the name of the Lord, glorification of the Lord, thoughts of the Lord, and activities of the Lord, 1 second they do not want to be away from it. That's why they don't want that anybody should come and disturb us. They are called bhajananandis. But those who want to deliver the fallen soul and coming down here with that purpose, they are very much liberal. They go everywhere to preach science of Krishna consciousness, like Srila Prabhupada. At his advanced stage, Srila Prabhupada went to the Western world, where there is no question of devotional practice. All of them are involved in all sorts of sinful activities. So Prabhupada, in his first entrance, was totally confused. How can deliver these fellows? They are all in grouping in darkness and always merged in all sinful activities. Then he prayed to Supreme Lord, please help me. please give your mercy. How can we be able to just deliver these fellows? That's why he came down, and in the Western world, he just had some plan, means some formula, how simply he can help these fellows to come down from this mode of ignorance first. Although passionate goodness is there, but still they are mostly in mode of ignorance. So simply, he just made some kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this sound vibration is the only way to elevate them. But they will follow any regulative principles or anything I will say, a philosophy of Gita or Bhagavatam, let them chant the holy name of the Lord. Through this chanting of the holy name of the Lord, gradually, some or other, their sound vibration entered into their heart through the ear. Initially, they are not able to chant the name also, Mahamantra. But Prabhupada is very merciful. By the order of his divine spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, he was one empowered personality. He was the spiritual ambassador from the spiritual world to this hellish planet. And he, through his glance, he gave them the mercy. Through chanting and through his glance. Sadhuji's glance. If you look at the persons gathered in the meeting or this pravachan, he will just deliver them. They have that powers. They are most purified personalities. They can do and undo things like Supreme Lord Krishna. So, Prabhupada made this chanting process the initial system to just deliver these conditioned souls and qualify them to at least hear something from him about the glorification of the holy name of the Lord. And ultimately, there came to a certain platform and they started asking questions to Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada could realize now they are in a status. Like Sanatana Goswami was asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he was in an exalted position. He is Goswami. He is a Manjari. But to teach to the common public that an inquiry must be there. Without inquiry, you can't enter into this science. Inquiry about what? About the self, about the Lord, our relation with the Lord, about the spiritual world, and about the process of this devotional practice. When somebody asks all these things, naturally, is some or other getting some bitter taste about this material world. This material world has nothing to do here, only ahar, nidra, bhaya, maithun. Nothing else. Prabhupada explained in previous texts. And as human being, our aim of life should not be like this, practicing this ahar, nidra, bhaya, maithun. We are something else. It is maybe for inferior species, cats, dogs, or hogs. But as human being, we should ask, what for I am here? What is my identity? Who is the Lord? How I will be related to the Lord? That's why in this chapter, first text itself, Rishabh Devi is giving advice to his sons. Nayang deho dehvajang nurloke kastan karman arhate bidbhujangje tapodivyang putraka jena satvang shuddhe jasmat brahma saukhyang tu anantam. My dear boys, for all the living entities who accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs, that its tool. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified. And when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. To come to this path of eternity, a simple tapasya is required. But that tapasya is very easy for us in this age of Kali, as it was recommended by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 532 years back. That is just to chant the holy name. But Srila Prabhupada had told, you chant the holy name, but to have prem or to realize yourself quickly, it must be offenseless. As every day after Tulasi Arati, Arjita Mitra Prabhu is giving us, like small boys, school tutors are telling to the boys, repeating A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, like Prabhu is always telling us, please chant with me the 10 offenses, first offense, second offense, third, this is up to 10th offense, every day. He is so sympathetic to all of us. So similarly, when you are chanting the holy name, we should avoid these 10 offenses. If offenses are there, then pure name will not come out. And pure name is not come out, our true identity will not be revealed. Not possible. This is science. We should be serious to make some practice over it. Then only we'll get the result easily. And we just avoid offenses. Totally offenses are not removed. In between it's called Namabha stage. In that Namabha stage, we are getting also results. But don't think it is the real, true spiritual platform. You will think like that, then you will again come down. That's a Namabha's position is very dangerous to the devotees. Because their desires will be fulfilled. In the Namabha stage, you will think something else, you need not be worried how to get it. It will come to your feet. I think some of the devotees are very senior here. They must have some realization over it. They might have seen it. And they are very careful also. Let us not think like that. So, you should be very careful for that. After Namabha stage, your this true name will come. And when true name will be uttered in your lips, gradually your Swarup will come. When you will realize your Swarup, a real self, then you are in a position to serve the Lord. Now we are making some training or sadhana with serving to the Lord and practicing arati and sringar and bhog offering, everything. But when your real self will be just, it will come out, you will cry. Why? Because long years back, you are just forgetting your relationship with the Lord. How Lord is mercifully giving you the human form of life to again revive your consciousness, to reunite with the Lord and to serve Him again. And that is Lord's only desire. That's why here Lord is telling, my heart is also spiritual and I always think of the welfare of my devotees. Therefore within my heart can be found the process of devotional service, which is meant for devotees. So how the Lord is merciful to us. And those who are dear devotees of the Lord, they are also similarly in that position. In their heart there is nothing else, only Supreme Lord Krishna. Tomara Hrudaya Sada Govinda Visram. Govinda Kahena Mama Vaishnava Paran. Pratijanme Kariyasa Charaner Dhuli. Narotame Karadaya Apanar Boli. So dear devotee's heart is the real place for Lord Govinda to reside. When Govinda is residing there, is it a material body like us? No. It is totally spiritual. All the activities, all the senses, all the thoughts, intelligence, mind, everything is totally spiritualized. They are above this material form or material world. But they came here to help us, to deliver us. That's why they just act as we can understand, as we can reciprocate. If there is spiritual reciprocation more, we can't reciprocate because we are in conditional state. Our senses are limited. It is conditioned to the three modes of material nature. We can't go beyond that. That's they again calm down. That's why, although they are Krishna Krupa Srimurti, if Lord Krishna's mercy will assume a form, that is Krishna Krupa Srimurti, means our divine spiritual master. But if he will come with that spiritual form, we can't see him. He comes with as per our capacity of vision power, so that we can reciprocate with him. And he gives up some information, instruction that do this tapasya. Means no deviation of four regulative principles, chant the holy name offenselessly, attend the temple program sincerely, read Prabhupada's literatures regularly, and associate with the devotees every day, and take Krishna Prasadam. And rest assured, I am taking care of you. If you follow it strictly, be sure it will be your last life. Because we are not able to do it, it is our tendency to compromise something. We are all spiritual personalities, no doubt. And we have a desire to control something, because Krishna had given us certain departments in his spiritual world, in his spiritual seva. But we are disconnected, that tendency is still with us. If somebody is given the power of temple commander, he has certain area of control. Somebody is security in charge, he has certain area of control. Temple president, vice president, they have certain area of control. Regional secretary, GVC, they have certain area of control. But problem is, we are attached to these positions. And ultimately, instead of serving to the Lord, we are becoming victim to our own senses, which is giving us terrible, terrible problem. Sometimes we are feeling, why I will take the management, part in management, let it be somebody else. Why I will take so much headache? Why it is to me? I am serving to everybody. I am trying to satisfy everybody. But still people are against me. No. You should think of Krishna. You should think of his instructions. Act accordingly. Become a true representative of the Lord like Rishabdev. So that you will feel your position and your identity and your seva and your activities and your sphere of controlling power. And in this way, Lord will help you. There are so many things here. Most important thing is also instructed. Mahasevam dharmahur bimukter stamodvaram joshitang sangi sangam mahantaste samachitaha prashanta bimannevaha srudha sadhavaje. One can attain the path of liberation from material bondage only by rendering service to highly advanced spiritual personalities. These personalities are impersonalists and devotees. Here given some comparison here. Whether one wants to merge into the Lord's existence or wants to associate with the personality of Godhead, one should render service to the Mahatmas. But those who are not interested in such activities, who associate with people fond of women and sex, the path to hell is wide open. The Mahatmas are equiposed. They do not see any difference between one living entity and another. They are very peaceful and fully engaged in devotional service. They are devoid of anger and they work for the benefit of everyone. They do not behave in any abominable way. Such people are known as Mahatmas. So you see what's the qualification of Mahatmas? He had already given. So in this way, if you follow the Mahajanas, they are not 12. For our information, it is written 12 Mahajanas. But all the Parampara Acharyas, they are no doubt exalted personalities. They are only aimed to deliver the conditioned souls from these clutches of ugly witch Maya. So they are coming here facing all sorts of problems, tribulations, just to deliver us. They don't feel it very pleasurable place and to make get some enjoyment here. No. They are only for us. So we should feel what their position is. And if we reciprocate with them accordingly, then only it will be very easy for him to lift us from the dark ditch well of this material world. That's why we should see how Rishabhdev again is advising sons. Nunang pramatta kurute vikarma jat indriya priteya aprunoti na sadhu manya jat atmano ayam asannapi klesada deha. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. In this way, we are coming across so many species of life within this 84 lakh species of life. So, our duty is to how to be out of this temperament or mood, not to gratify our senses with this material sense enjoyment. As long as one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defeated and subjected to miseries arising from ignorance. Be it sinful or pious, karma has its resultant action. If a person is engaged in any kind of karma, his mind is called karmatmaka, colored with fruitive activity. As long as the mind is impure, consciousness is unclear. And as long as one is absorbed in fruitive activity, he has to accept a material body. In this way, we should see how we are in this mode of ignorance. When the living entity is covered by the mode of ignorance, it does not understand the individual living being and the supreme living being. And his mind is subjugated to fruitive activity. Therefore, until one has love for Lord Vasudeva, who is none other than myself, he is certainly not delivered from having to accept a material body again and again. Unless we realize ourselves, it is very difficult. That's why we have to follow regulative principles, chant the holy name, and associate with very, very dear devotees of the Lord. That is most crucial factor. In ISKCON society, we have very, very great exalted personalities. But because of our offenseful chanting, we are not able to recognize them, for which we are not getting proper guidance. And sometimes we are also committing to offense to those exalted personalities. Like Srila Prabhupada, he had gave the chance to his disciples to guide others, to help them, to accept Krishna consciousness, to be engaged in seva of Krishna, to have book distribution all over the world, and to always chant the holy name of the Lord. In this way, they are moving everywhere, all part of the world. Although they are very, very elderly personalities, some are having some bodily problems, but carrying out the order of Srila Prabhupada, they are moving everywhere to make everybody Krishna conscious. So, if we follow those Mahajanas, these great personalities, to disciples of Prabhupada, then only we'll be in a position to realize ourselves. Otherwise, not possible. So, when our heart, which have a strong knot of, I'll finish with it now, the attraction between male and female in the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine. When the strong knot in the heart of a person implicated in a material life due to the result of past actions is slackened, one turns away from his attachment to home, wife, and children. In this way, one gives up the basic principles of illusion, I and mine, and becomes liberated. Thus one goes to the transcendental world. This hard knot, to break this hard knot is very easy thing. It needs the strong hammering of the dear devotees of the Lord. Those who are always merged in the seva, thoughts of Krishna, and remembering the qualities of the Lord and glorifying the Lord always. Their body is totally transcendental. And their words are like, a sharp razor. Once they will throw their words to us, our hard knot of bondage will cut immediately. That's a Gurudev told always to us. Sadhu always uses his big hammer to cut your bondage in this material with one stroke finish. But the Mayavadis, they have very small hammer, like goldsmith. It will not cut. It will take more time. But you should take shelter of such souls having big hammers, like Prabhupada's disciples or present spiritual masters or advanced devotees. They are giving you hammering, big hammering. With one stroke finish, Maya's connection. Then only you will turn your face to Krishna. So, my prayer is that I am not a soul to speak all these things. We are all getting good information here from different devotees, and particularly our Jita Mitra Prabhu. He is the most, the spiritual personality having all the scripture in his heart. When you open his mouth, only the scriptures are coming. I think in the dream also seeing the scriptures in form of Radharani's different sakhis. That's, I heard it, I do not know. Please excuse me. Because he's in that mood. So also the other personalities here, like our other Prabhus, I had given some instances. So I thought to hear, but our Sadhu Prabhu, he is really Sadhu. He told not to, you heard something, give it to others. So instead of hearing, I became a bhakta here, speaker here. I have some defects, so I can't speak so much truth to all of you as it is mentioned here. So now I just close my topic here. So any comments or questions, please give. Otherwise, we'll close the topic here. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा.
Yes, Prabhu.
धन्यवाद. हिंदी बोलूं?
Yes, Prabhu.
तो हिंदी में बोल रहा हूं. इसमें भगवान कह रहे हैं कि हृदय मेरा धर्म है. धर्म जो है मेरे हृदय में निवास करता है. तो अगर आप धर्म का पालन करते हैं तो आप भगवान के हृदय में रहते हैं. और भगवान का हृदय अगर आप देखते हैं तो भगवान का पूरा रूप, सौंदर्य, सब कुछ देखते हैं. और भगवान ने अधर्म को अपनी पीठ में रखा हुआ है. पृष्ठे कृतो यद अधर्म. तो अधर्म को अब भगवान ने अपनी पीठ में रखा हुआ है. तो अधर्म भी भगवान से अलग नहीं है, भगवान में ही आश्रित है. लेकिन भगवान ने अधर्म को अपनी पीठ में किया हुआ है. इस प्रकार से भगवान ने अधर्म को अपने से दूर रखा है. तो भगवान से दूर तो कुछ भी नहीं है, अधर्म भी भगवान से दूर नहीं है. लेकिन भगवान अधर्म से दूर है. भगवान ने अधर्म को अपने से दूर रखा है. अगर आपके पीठ पीछे कोई चीज़ है तो आप जो है उससे दूर हो गए. तो अगर आप अधर्म का पालन करते हैं तो आप क्या देखेंगे? भगवान की पीठ देखेंगे. और जब भगवान की पीठ देखेंगे तो आपको भगवान का रूप, भगवान का सौंदर्य कुछ भी नहीं दिखाई देगा. तो वो लोग जो धर्म का पालन करते हैं तो वो क्या कहते हैं कि भगवान या तो निराकार है या भगवान है ही नहीं. क्योंकि वो पीठ अधर्म है, भगवान की पीठ है. और पीठ को आप देखें आपको कुछ भी पता नहीं चलेगा. या तो कहेंगे निराकार है, परम सत्य निराकार है, या फिर परम सत्य है ही नहीं, है ना. तो जो धर्म है, जो धर्म का हम पालन करेंगे, जो भगवान को प्रसन्न करने के लिए जो विधि है भक्ति, उसका पालन करते हैं तो आप हृदय में आते हैं भगवान के। और यहाँ कहा गया आर्या, जो आर्य लोग हैं हाँ, वो मुझे ऋषभ कहते हैं। ऋषभ का मतलब है श्रेष्ठ, सर्वोत्तम, है ना। तो उसी को ही गीता में भगवान कहते हैं पुरुषोत्तम। तो पुरुषोत्तम आप जो है अगर आर्य हैं तो आप भगवान को पुरुषोत्तम समझ सकते हैं। तो आर्य का मतलब है जब धर्म का पालन करेंगे आप, तब आप आर्य बनेंगे। और आर्य बनेंगे तो आप भगवान का हृदय देखेंगे, और हृदय देखेंगे तो उनका पूरा शरीर भी देखेंगे, उनका मुख देखेंगे, उनका सौंदर्य देखेंगे, उनके गुणों को देखेंगे, और आप मानेंगे कि हाँ भगवान सर्वोत्तम है, भगवान पुरुषोत्तम है। लेकिन अधर्म का अगर पालन करेंगे तो आप आर्य नहीं हैं, आप अनार्य हैं, इसलिए अनार्य कहते हैं उसको। तो जो अनार्य हैं तो वे भगवान के जो है पीठ को देख पाते हैं, और पीठ को देखते हैं इसलिए कहते हैं परम सत्य या तो निराकार है और या परम सत्य है ही नहीं, क्योंकि पीठ से आप किसी को समझ नहीं सकते कि भाई क्या है क्या नहीं, कुछ भी स्पष्टीकरण नहीं होता है, ना कुछ गुणों का पता चलता है, ना रूप का पता चलता है, ना लीलाओं का पता चलता है, कुछ भी पता नहीं चलता। लेकिन जो आर्य लोग हैं वो भगवान के रूप, गुण, नाम, लीला इन सब का अनुभव करते हैं, और ऋषभ कहते हैं कि भगवान ऋषभ हैं, यानी पुरुषों में सर्वश्रेष्ठ हैं, है ना। तो इसलिए भगवान गीता में पुरुषोत्तम योग, पूरा 15वां अध्याय पुरुषोत्तम योगी है कि जो व्यक्ति आर्य हो जाता है तो वो जो है मुझे पुरुषोत्तम जान लेता है, और वो सब कुछ जान लेता है और मेरा सब प्रकार से भजन करता है। तो भगवान को जो है जब ऋषभ आप समझ लेंगे तो आपकी फिर स्वाभाविक इच्छा होगी भगवान का हर प्रकार से भजन करने की, हर प्रकार से सेवा करने की। हरे कृष्णा।
जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद जी महाराज की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, श्री राधा पार्थ सारथी ललिता विशाखा जी की जय, श्री श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी की जय, शंवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यश्च च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की।